The steam from my tea was the only thing moving in that kitchen when she said it. "You're a nobody in this house, Margaret. You just happen to sleep here." She didn't even look up from her phone when she said it. Like I was a smudge on the counter she'd wipe away later. I'd been living with my son Daniel and his wife Priya for 8 months by then. Ever since my hip surgery made the stairs in my old place impossible. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself a lot of things that winter. Priya had a way of rearranging my presence in small, cutting increments. My favorite mug disappeared into a donation box to make more counter space. My chair by the window became the reading nook for her book club, and I was gently redirected to the folding chair in the hallway when they came over. She corrected the way I loaded the dishwasher in front of guests.
If you enjoy our family stories, please help our small family reach 100 subscribers.
She called me Daniel's mother to her friends, never Margaret. Like I hadn't earned a name in this house. I let it slide because Daniel looked so tired those days. Working 60-hour weeks, and I didn't want to be the mother-in-law who caused friction. I made myself smaller. I ate dinner early before they got home, so I wouldn't be underfoot. I stopped mentioning things I needed. But that Tuesday, something in me went still and cold instead of small. Because what she didn't know, what nobody in that kitchen knew except me and a lawyer 3 towns over, was that the house wasn't Daniel's. It had never been Daniel's. 6 years ago, when my husband Walter was dying, he'd made me promise something in a hospital room that smelled like antiseptic and old flowers. He didn't trust easily, not even his own son's judgment when it came to money. Daniel had a habit back then of trusting the wrong people, and Walter had watched a business partner take him for nearly everything once. So when we helped the kids with the down payment, Walter insisted the deed stay in a family trust, with me as sole trustee, until Daniel proves he can hold on to things, Walter had said, half joking, half not. I'd never told Daniel. I'd never told anyone. It felt like airing a wound that had already closed. I used to think I'd never need to bring it up. I imagined I'd quietly transfer it to him someday, at Christmas maybe, wrapped in ribbon like a gift instead of a correction. I never imagined I'd need it as a shield. That morning, after she said her piece about nobodies and beds I merely happened to sleep in, I set my tea down without a word and drove to the lawyer's office. Not out of spite. I want to be honest about that, because spite would have felt good, and this didn't. This felt like grief for a version of my family I'd been pretending still existed. Mr. Okafor pulled the file. The paperwork was exactly as Walter left it. Clean, binding, mine to enforce. I asked him one question. What happens if I simply stopped paying the property taxes and homeowners' dues I'd been quietly covering from Walter's life insurance for 2 years? Letting Daniel believe his salary alone kept them afloat. He told me gently that I had every right to stop. That I had every right, in fact, to do far more than stop. I didn't confront Priya that night, or the next. I let a week pass, ordinary and quiet, while she kept calling me by my son's name instead of my own. Then I called a small family dinner, nothing dramatic. Just the 4 of us, Daniel, Priya, myself, and Mr. Okafor, whom I introduced only as an old friend of your father's. I watched Priya's face when he opened the folder. I watched it change in real time, the way ice changes when you pour warm water over it, not shattering, just slowly losing its shape. Trust deed sole trustee Margaret Whitfield. She read it twice. "This house is a nobody's," I said, and my voice didn't shake at all, which surprised me. "It's mine. It has been mine since before you moved your first box in." Daniel's face was pale, not with anger at me, but with the slow arithmetic of 2 years of assumptions collapsing. Priya said nothing. For the first time since I'd moved in, she had absolutely nothing to say. I didn't ask them to leave. I want to be clear about that, because I am still, after everything, someone's mother and someone's mother-in-law, and love doesn't evaporate just because respect did. But I did tell them, plainly, that the folding chair in the hallway was going back to storage, and my chair was going back to the window. And that from now on, in my own home, I would be called by my name.